What's up, fellow lords of gaming, and welcome back to another episode of Marvel Future Revolution. Today we take a deep dive look at Scarlet Witch and specifically her specializations. So I'm trying to keep these videos short so that way, you know, they're to the point and give players a good idea. I've done these before for Doctor Strange. Unfortunately, I hate to say this, but these are more like a first impression because it's kind of hard to exactly know this character at this point in order to be able to say, without a doubt, these are going to be things that you need to focus on. But hopefully they give you an idea of where to focus your builds at. Now, right out the gate, specializations. Like I said in my previous video, Scarlet Witch is a utility beast. She basically has a whole host of specializations that could benefit any type of player and is going to benefit various builds, whether you're going to be PvE or PvP focused, or whether you're even looking at specific types of content, like if it's Dark Zone, if it's Omega War, if it's Invasion. She has a litany of skills and specializations in here that are going to be really helpful. The ones that immediately jumped out to me, my top four is going to be literally active trait, her Hex Magic Essence Aptitude. I looked at this skill because it was really interesting to me because it increases all damage dealt to supervillains by a set percentage for set time when using Hex energy. This is a really good specialization because you'll go inside Scarlet Witch's her skills, and you'll notice a lot of her Hex skills are played realistically. Her Hex, her Witchcraft, and her Chaos skills are all very viable, and they all represent various effects that are really good. Like, of the 32 something skills, I would say there's at least 3 of each that are highly viable for any build. Now, that's just me. Now, one of the skills that I really do like, but is going to be omitted from here, is because I'm going to play around with it, is her Hex Magic High Speed Hex, where it increases the status effect accuracy by set percent and the accuracy rate by set percent when battle lasts for 6 seconds. This is a good skill. There's nothing wrong with this skill at all. I also see the viability of this skill in both PvP as well as things like Invasion and other game modes and so forth. But I think this is more oriented towards PvP, which is the reason why I kind of omitted it from mine. That's not to say that this couldn't be used in other things. What I really want to test out is what they mean by this status effect accuracy rate increase when the battle lasts for 6 seconds. Like, is that my engagement per target? So if you're like thinking, and this is why I say nobody's going to really know until these effects are tested out a little bit more. Nobody's going to really know to be like, oh, well, I've got to test that out to be like, okay, well, I've engaged on this target and I can see the increase of status effect accuracy rate and my normal accuracy rate as well per target engagement. Or if it's something that drops off when, I killed this target and now I've moved on to this target, so I'm not really getting the benefit of the battle lasting. That's what I'm essentially looking at, is when the battle lasts. If it's the entire time that you're in battle, like you're doing and attacking, you're using attacking skills, then this is going to have a high value and is going to, reach the pinnacle of being like must have, obviously, because she's casting a lot of effects and debuffs. So you're going to want to make sure your status effects and your accuracy rate are very high with Scarlet Witch. Now, moving on from there, Chaos Control, Chaos Tier. This was another really cool skill because if you notice from the new Scarlet Witch cards and even what Danny Q and these guys are talking about, max damage rate and be able to hit that max damage rate was one of the things that they really were pushing with the character. So the fact that she's able to increase the max damage rate by set percent for such time when you use a Chaos class skill, this is really cool. It's not very much different than one of Doctor Strange's specializations, but I really feel like this is something that if you have Chaos skills that you are really working into your rotation, maybe at least 2 of them, then you're going to want to have this in your build. Outside of that, it's going to be Hex Magic Energy Equivalent Exchange. I think everybody is going to have this inside their build. Increases all skill damage dealt to enemies by set percentage and the required stamina by. So this is similar to Doctor Strange's Dark Magic skill that everybody had, where it was increasing your cooldown as requirement. But I think that the turnoff is that you're going to have a required stamina. So increase all the skill damage dealt to enemies by this much and the required stamina by. Now here goes the question that I have because of the way it's written. Is it increasing my required stamina, or is it increasing their required stamina? Because Scarlet Witch does have a number of skills that, you know, will increase your skill cooldown, will increase your required stamina, your stamina consumption. And so it's going to be an interesting skill. But overall, I think this is going to be a, regardless of whether or not it's affecting you, you have ways to mitigate this, and I'll show you those in a second. You have ways to mitigate this as if it is the required stamina on your skill. Like the same way Doctor Strange can decrease his cooldown decreases regardless. So number 4 is going to be Mystic Witchcraft Mystic Stamina. Here you can see that I can recover my stamina by a set percentage once every 5 times a skill is used. This is kind of hard to read. I really wish they would get better with their wording. But essentially, you're going to be able to recover your skill so many times. I'm assuming this is a cooldown. It's weird unless there's something omitted here where it's a certain skill that's supposed to be used, like whether it's Chaos Hex or witchcraft that is being used. And so once every 5 times a witchcraft skill is used, or if it's just once every 5 times a skill is used, meaning that every 5 times that I use a skill, so meaning I go through my entire circle, then I can recover stamina. That's still going to be good for me, right? So let's take a look at some of the other skills. Those were the ones that immediately jumped out to me. That doesn't mean that some of the other skills are not equally as viable, especially inside builds, because like I said, she is pretty much a great stamina character. I mean, a great utility character. So Hex Magic, Hex Domination. She increases damage dealt to immobile target or targets with status effects. This is another good skill because this is essentially saying that if I'm playing with a Spider-Man, I'm playing with any kind of character that is going to apply immobility to characters, this is good. She applies immobility to characters, while at the same time, it's just saying a target with status effects. So regardless of the immobility being applied to them, it's increasing that damage to characters, period, with status effects. This is another one of those skills that could quickly move into the top ranks because she's applying a lot of status effects with all her skills. You'll see that in one of my other videos. So this could end up working its way into the top 4. But I want to play around with those anyways, right? So over here to the right, we got Mystic Witchcraft Dodge. So this operates seemingly similar to the way Spider-Man and Captain Marvel's skills work, where the movement speed is increased by a set percentage for a set time when you use your dodge skill. The good part about this, though, is that when the movement speed increase effects ends, you decrease cooldown of all your skills by a set amount. Now, this is a really cool skill depending on how often it works, because you're only basically like, hey, I'm just going to increase my dodge, is making me faster. Whether or not it makes its way into the top 4, it's kind of hard to say. She has a lot of strong other skills that I'm not so sure that I'm worried about the cooldown of all my skills, especially when I start thinking about if I already max out my cooldowns, my cooldown decreases and so forth like that. Is it going to be something that I need ultimately inside there? You know what I mean? Like it was like one of Doctor Strange's increased the max cooldown rate of his skills, but I really didn't need it once I end up hitting those max caps on those skills. So weird in that essence, right? Down here on the bottom, we've got Mystic Witch's Branch. It fires magic that spreads to 5 enemies and deals damage equal to, set percentage of attack and inflicts silence for set time when using a witchcraft class skill. So obviously, if you're going to be leaning heavy into your witchcraft abilities where you're maybe using 3 of those, this might be a skill that you really look at. Now, whether or not I want that extra 13.5% attack or however high that gets, just because of here to overrule some of the other ones, I think this is going to be played more into witchcraft builds, right? Like if I'm using a witchcraft oriented build, then I'm going to probably populate this in one of my slots. So that's the truth, right? Then we get over here to Chaos Control, Critical Chaos. Critical Hit is applied to all skills for 2.5 seconds or a set time after, a set max damage hits. Now, obviously, this one becomes a little bit more, specialized because I need to hit 3 max damage hits and then be able to get the crit applied to all my skills. Is only for a set amount of time. So can I rotate through all those skills? This one becomes way more specialized in how it's being employed. So I didn't find very much usefulness in there. Doesn't mean that it's not useful. I gotta see like how often is she's max damage hitting a character in order for those crit hits to be up on all characters at all times. So we'll see. But yeah, we'll look at that in the future. Like I said, still work in progress. Over here, we've got Chaos Control, Chaos Confusion. This is a really nice kind of like additional skill. It's basically a when attacked while her HP is 50% or lower, she creates a magic explosion that deals damage equal to set percentage of attack and inflicts confusion on attack targets for 3 seconds. There's a 12-second cooldown. So this, in a sense, right, it says when she's attacked, period, when her HP is 50% or lower, that she's going to basically pull off a skill and inflict confusion to targets an area. This is a great Omega War skill. So I could see you easily playing Scarlet Witch and being inside like Alliance Omega War. Her health is getting below 50%. You're going to want to employ this skill and push it into your rotation because there's going to be great utility there for that skill. You know what I mean? Like, especially since it's going to apply confusion. You're getting a status effect from a specialization. This is good in that sense. Then we got Chaos Control, Chaos Reset, increases the target skill cooldown by a set percent when set time when attacking a target within set time after using a Chaos class skill on a target that has a status effect. Like I said, she's applying a lot of status effects to characters. The only thing that I don't like is that basically is like, I gotta increase your cooldown by a small percentage of time. 1 second at the lowest level doesn't seem like a lot, but this could jump up when attacking a target within a certain amount of time after using a Chaos class skill. So it's kind of weird. It's not necessarily situational because it's pretty easy to pull off. You're using Chaos skills, or any skills at that point. You know what I mean? You've got 2 Chaos skills, let's say inside your rotation, you cast a Chaos skill and then you cast another skill. So this is basically like cast a Chaos skill with a status effect ability, make sure that it lands, and then cast another skill, and you're going to increase their skill cooldown. It's just one of those things that this could be a highly PvP oriented skill that could apply some, extra buffs and damage to the character overall. Now, surprisingly, the one thing that I'm noticing the most with Scarlet Witch's specializations is that there is not too many wasted specializations in here. And to be honest with you, her inventory of specializations give great reason for them to, consider the fact that we need the ability to equip and change out to multiple specializations, because I need different specializations in here, regardless of your build, that are going to be more applicable to PvP, more applicable to PvP, or more applicable to like Alliance Omega War or certain types of game modes that you're playing. And being able to have that already switched with inside your presets would be a great thing. I don't like this thing where in order to unequip some stuff I need to pay gold from. This is another gold drain inside the game, and it's really something that's not needed in my opinion. We're already paying for the RNG to get up to here and max these out. I shouldn't really have to be paying gold in order to equip. So I really like to see that change overall. But let me know in the comment section what you guys think about Scarlet Witch's specialization. Like I said, one of the things that I'm loving about this update, especially with Scarlet Witch, regardless of whether you're switching over to her as your main or not, is that she is representing a great foundation for the game in terms of like players being able to see that the developers are actually taking time to focus in and understand the game that they have. I really do feel like at some point with this game, whether it was developed during the pandemic or not, is that a lot of the pieces to the game felt individually developed, and now they're starting to become some kind of cohesion. Marketing team still is not on board, but they need to figure that out so that way the game has some sustainability. But I'm really liking Scarlet Witch's specializations. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Until next time, peace.